I'm live already. Holy crap, I'm live and I'm not ready. Anyways, back at Hoagie's Garage for take 2 for the night. Run through our sponsors again real quick. We'll start at the bottom this time, bud.
Yep.
We'll mention Hero Haven for all that they do for the vets and first responders. It's a really cool organization. Heartland Hardware and Appliance. They got a store in Brandon, South Dakota, and George and Hayward, Iowa. Fulkins Brothers Trucking for all they do for us and for all they do for racing in general. It's kind of amazing what they've all done. Kaiser Aluminum Wheels, just south of us here, down by Orange City. Pretty much all your racing wheels, micros, midgets, sprint cars, pulling tractors even, I believe, ain't it, bud?
Yep.
Turn 2 Lodge down in Knoxville. Literally what it says, there's a place you can stay right outside of Turn 2. There's a house there, place you can stay. Super convenient. Houston Speedway just come off their biggest event of the year. Just got done with that. She's a touch on the warm side for that one this week, but we made her through. S2F, start to finish, another streaming service. They got Power Eye, Port City, 3 or 4 other tracks that I can never remember, so I only remember Port City on account of Shane. And they got 3 races, I think, Friday, and 5 we said for Saturday. My Race Pass, if you don't have it, got to get it. Worked out great for us because the wife likes to listen to Husitz on their FM station, but they weren't using that with the Outlaws. But My Race Pass still had the audio, so she was happy. And if she's happy,
You're happy.
it makes me a lot happier. Morning Sun Marketplace out in central Pennsylvania with Rick and Sue Fritz. Pretty much find anything you could possibly imagine out there if you're out in the area. Mount Tabor Cabinetry, also out there in central Pennsylvania with Chris Bissell. And then Rapid Graphics in Rock Rapids. It'll letter up your cars, make you signs. Just made a whole bunch of really cool ones for the vets for the Heritage Day celebration at the little town I live in. And then we don't want to forget bench racing with Shane and Snow.
Which might be live right now.
Which
also.
I think they're live now too. So,
Yep. All right.
anyways, back to you now, bud.
Hey, we're back at Hoagie's Garage, and we have Levi Klatt on tonight. Did I say your last name right, Levi?
Yeah, you nailed it.
All
Look
right,
at you
'cause
go, bud.
we didn't even ask. We didn't get to that before we started the podcast. So
We just got lucky.
how the heck you doing tonight, Levi?
Doing pretty good. Just sitting here helping my cousin get his non-lane car running.
That's
Just enjoying and savoring every moment.
so. Where's home?
Langley, British Columbia, so on the west coast of Canada, out by Vancouver.
Oh, so we're going across the border for this one.
Yeah,
So,
international.
Yeah, we're
Jeez,
international again.
I hope this isn't costing us money.
It depends on your phone plan. It's the border though, so it might not.
Maybe it's bouncing off a tower on our side of the border.
Yeah, who knows?
It
Well,
just might. You never
Of course,
know.
that one night, didn't we go from Australia to Pennsylvania to California that one night with
Something like
podcasts?
that,
It
yeah.
was a crazy night that time too. So that always makes it fun.
The New Zealand one cost me quite a bit of money.
Yeah, that one got you.
Yeah. We should have maybe just done this over Messenger.
There you go.
Because
Oh well.
then it wouldn't have mattered.
Oh well.
So,
I'll give you
Here
back
we
some.
are.
yeah, absolutely. So how long have you been racing? When did you get started?
Got started 14-ish years ago when I was 7 years old. Grew up in a racing family. Both my parents raced, and three out of four grandparents raced. So it's kind of didn't have much of a choice. So I had to work for it. My dad was still racing when I started in the quarter midgets, and it was just me, my mom, and my dad. So did all the work on that, and just kept progressing up. Went into junior sprints, then the 600s, lightning sprints, focus midgets, and then recently into big cars.
Okay. So I got to ask now. You said both your parents raced, right?
Yeah.
So mom and dad raced, and then you said 3 out of the 4 grandparents. So you had a grandma racing?
I did have a grandmother racing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
She raced mini stocks out at Langley Speedway.
See, we don't get to hear about many grandmas. So what time frame was she racing then? If you could
60s
guess.
and 70s.
Really?
That's crazy.
You don't hear about a lot of women racing in the 60s and 70s.
No, it's not common.
No.
One of a few.
My
Yeah.
golly, you better have her on the show, bud. She like to visit?
Sorry, what's that?
Well, does she like to visit? We should have her on the show.
Sadly, she passed
Oh.
many years ago.
I'm sorry, but no, that
No,
just
you're good.
it intrigues me. I mean, you don't hear, like I said, you don't hear about women in the racing in the '60s. You just didn't hear about
no,
it.
it's not common.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyways,
We're a crazy family.
So, how long have you been in the 410 then?
6 months.
oh, you're a
6
newbie
months,
then.
yeah.
My first race was the high limit Skagit Nationals last year. I
Oh.
did do a couple of races in the division before, like earlier in that season, but it was to test out my 360 stuff, so I just have my 360 motor in it.
Okay.
So it said 16 starts, but it was actually 14.
14 with the 410.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So-
crazy.
so-
So, where do you all race then? I mean, do you race Skagit weekly then?
Yep, I race Skagit every weekend, and then when they're not racing, we'll head down to Oregon and whatnot. I haven't raced in Canada since COVID because, well, obviously I couldn't cross the border. But surprisingly enough, out where I live, the closest track is Deming Speedway, the little micro sprint track. I don't know if you guys have heard of that place or not.
No.
And Skagit is the next closest.
Okay.
And when you're saying
So-
closest, how many miles are you talking?
I couldn't tell you the mile amount. It takes me about 45 minutes to get to Skagit.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that
not
ain't
bad
bad at all then. 'Cause
No,
with
it's
the old,
right there, and then Deming's only 30 minutes.
okay. So with the old push truck, it takes me just about 40 minutes to get to Houston. 'Cause we don't go very fast.
Yeah, it's about the same distance.
Yeah.
And I gotta cross international borders.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
go through customs.
Yeah. Is that ever a hassle with the sprint car?
No, I haven't had any problems in many years, or really at all, actually. You get searched every now and again, but it's usually just an agriculture check to see if you're bringing down unprocessed meat, or vegetables.
Okay.
So it's never really a hassle. Just hey, where are you going? Racetrack. All right, have a nice day.
Okay.
That's super. That's
There's
cool.
quite a contingent of us in the local area where I am in Canada that go down to race at Deming and Skagit frequently, and then the other track's pavement track in Monroe. So there's probably 30 of us that are crossing every weekend, and we all go through the same crossing most of the time. So they end up getting to know what's going on, and
Sure.
they don't bother us.
Periodically, they gotta check just so they can cross a T or dot an I on their forms that they checked you,
Yep.
I suppose.
That's just it.
Yep.
So we're very easy.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this big race on Thursday night. Give us some details on, how'd you time and how things worked, and obviously tell us how the feature went.
So the night started out pretty good. Well, very good. Didn't expect it to start out as good as it did. Timed in 12th overall out of 46-ish cars. So that set us up really good for points and a good spot for the heat race. Kind of got mired in some traffic, and like I was saying earlier, I'm still getting used to the whole 410 thing. Because things happen a hell of a lot faster in a 410 than they do in a 360. And so still finally things started to click on Thursday. But so fell back a little bit in my heat race, which Skagit for Dirt Cup, they do a 16-car invert in the main event. So timing in 12th, and then my heat race position put me in 15th. So probably luckiest spot I could have been. Put me on the pole on the outside pole for the main. And when I saw the lineup, I was panicking. I did not think I was ready to start there. I was like, what am I going to do? The only thing I can do is tuck in line behind Golovic, who was the pole sitter, and just try to learn. And that's all that was running through my head. I was just like, what am I going to do? So get out, push out for the main event, take the green, and I made it to turn one before Shane. And I expected the big dirty slider to be coming up across my nose, and I didn't see him leave the bottom. That was the first time I thought all night that I had a shot at that race. And so I just cut clean laps and stayed up top in 3-4 for a little bit too long. And then that's when Justin Peck got around me. Then I just trailed behind him for 15-ish laps. We had an open red on lap 16, I think it was. I don't actually fully remember. Open red on lap 16 area. Pit reporter comes up, asks for an interview. So I agreed. And I started kind of talking out of my butt a little bit. Because I knew I just was trying to learn, and I didn't think I had a shot at passing Justin. So, tell him, just got to cut, he's asking what I got to do to maybe pick up the win and how I'm feeling. And like, all I got to do is cut clean laps and pray we get the lap traffic or he makes a mistake. And I was not expecting any of that. I was talking purely out of my butt. I didn't think any of that was going to happen.
Well, I live by the motto. I live by the motto: you can't dazzle with brilliance and baffle them with bullshit. So you were getting her done there.
That was exactly what I was doing. So we pushed back off, take the green, and we had 10 or 12 laps green flag run, and we actually got into lap traffic. And just Justin couldn't clear the 2K car. And I was baffled. So I'm just running them down, and I think I closed up the gap in 2 or 3-ish laps. And I just couldn't believe it. Hole opened up in 3 and 4, and I just motored around them on the inside. And then big old fly job came up from him, crossed it back over, and then I don't know exactly what happened when we went into 3. I think his car got a little bit free on him probably. Set the car off into the corner, and we both ended up hitting. My car got a little bit upset, and I missed the bottom a little bit. He crossed me back over. We drove down the front straightaway. He slid me again. And this time I pushed a little bit on the cushion and just didn't have enough to get back underneath of him. So he had cleared me, and we're coming down to take the checkered now. And yeah, the 7th place car ended up spinning out in 3, which really saved my race because at the last completed lap, I was in the lead. So they threw me back out front, and all I could think at that point was I cannot miss the bottom in 3. I cannot miss it. If I do, I'm screwed.
In case people don't know, you guys start in the backstretch at Skagit. Okay, so there's, everywhere around here they kind of start coming out of 4, but you guys start in the backstretch, so that's kind of a big difference.
It really is. It kills a whole bunch of wing speed before you get to the corner, and if you're not used to it, it can trip you up quite a bit. But that's I've been racing with that. I never raced at Skagit when we would start coming out of 4, ever. The whole time I've raced there, it's been backstretch restart, so I've gotten used to it. And I didn't miss the bottom. And it just kind of, that was all she wrote.
Yeah.
Ran the last 2 laps, and I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it.
Well, we've noticed, we've seen highlights, so it happened. You're gonna have to start believing it pretty soon.
Yeah, I actually got to watch it because when we were done with Houston's, I came home and sat down and I just said, I'm gonna check, see if it's still on. And it was. So I got to see like the last 10 laps of the race, and they were, just like you explained it, they were really fun to watch.
It was something else. I couldn't believe how it all went down, and I just now is starting to wrap my head around it.
I think you hugged maybe every single person that was around.
Yeah, I think I did. There wasn't anybody that I missed. That was a really, it was cool, everybody that showed up at Victory Lane, because it was all family and everybody that helped us out on the cars. They were all very special people to me. So I could not miss any of them.
Yeah, that's
now
awesome.
I didn't get to watch it. So is that your first 410 win then?
Yeah, first one I've ever done. First time I put it in the top 5.
Well, that's going to be one you won't forget then, with the field that was there and everything.
Even with that, you never forget the first one.
No, that's
right.
true. But it's the who's who of the West Coast was there, plus a bunch of them come from the Midwest and Pennsylvania and everywhere else. So
we had Travis Arns on last week, and he got his first win with the high limits whatever, and he hadn't raced very long either.
No.
So that was kind of two of you here back to back. That's so awesome. So,
Yeah, I was watching that 141 race and I was rooting them on.
yeah.
I like to see the
That
little guys win.
gave you the motivation for yourself to win, right?
Absolutely.
Let's see here.
How'd the rest of your weekend go? I know it didn't go as well.
Friday didn't go as well, but then Saturday went all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to top what I did on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to top that at all, but just the way they did the format, got mired up in qualifying, going out real early. It had rained all night, so the track was real slimy for the first 3/4 or so of qualifying, and just luck of the draw. And then I missed the setup a little bit. You know, all the basic excuses that us drivers use.
Yep.
And qualified in somewhere around 27. Still, like I said, I was still getting comfortable in the 410, and it was still just starting to click on Thursday. So went out for the heat race, kind of screwed myself with some poor line choices, ended up falling back, which put me starting mid-field in the B main, and then still managed to move. That's when things finally started to click in the pack and move forward a little bit, but wasn't enough to make the main. Then Saturday, we started one spot out of the transfer in the qualifier, because we pointed out 22nd, and it was a pretty stacked heat. I had Brent Marks, Colton Heath, which is one of our local hot shots, and then Danny Sams and Tyler Thompson, which is another local guy. I had to have one of those ones to make it in. Took the green flag, I cleared Tyler Thompson, I was working around the inside of Danny Sams, and all of a sudden the car just started pushing. And if I shove the wing back forward, I can't figure out why it's still pushing it. Something's weird, something's wrong. So closed out the heat race, made the transfer, pulled off the track and started looking at the cars, inspecting, trying to find something wrong. And the right rear radius rod had broke.
Oh,
So the right rear tire was shoving itself forward about 3 inches on the throttle and making it push real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes them hard to drive. And
Yeah, it does make it a little bit tricky to drive sometimes. So, but made the main, which is the biggest thing. My whole goal for the weekend was to make all 3 mains, which I didn't do that because I didn't make the main on Friday, but that was out the window. We had one Thursday. I didn't care anymore.
At that
Everything was
point,
good.
everything else is gravy on top.
Absolutely. Could not be upset with the weekend. So after that, we lined up 18th for the main, and the track had come back real good because it was real cold and humid here on Saturday. And then not to mention we got the creek behind the track and everything. It comes back real quick. So pushed off for the main and started moving forward. I think I pulled like 20 tear-offs in the first 5 laps. It was
How many did you have on?
muddy. I think I stacked 30 on for the main, and we had an open red on lap. We had an open red on lap 14-ish, and I had to stack another 20 on.
Oh my
to
goodness.
make the finish.
That's
It was,
a lot
it
of
was a
tear-offs.
rocky track.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't even guess you
It
could
was
put
pretty
30
chaotic.
on.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second.
I wouldn't have believed you could even put 30 on one of them. You know, I used to play around with go-karts that had a helmet you could put tear-offs on. I'd never tried to put 30 on, but I didn't think there was room enough for 30. But
You gotta get the right post. But
yeah, I suppose, yeah, you can order different posts, that's true.
Non-laminated.
yeah, okay.
If you run the singles, you can only stack like 20 of them on.
Okay.
And at that, I think I stacked 20 on once and I had to peel 3 before I could see anything.
It's a fog
The
game.
laminated, the most I've put on is 50. Because we got tracked down in Oregon that gets real muddy sometimes, and yeah, I gotta go through a few tear-offs there.
You're going, what, 2 a lap then, if you need 50 of them or more. Every quarter you're peeling them off.
More than 2.
Yeah.
But I always try to have more on than I'm ever gonna need.
Well, yeah, you don't want to run out, because
I
then
don't
you're
wanna
then you're
run out.
screwed.
You're really screwed if you run out.
Yep.
So, I was charging forward though, and everything was going good. And then around lap 25, I was working my way around Dominic Felsley and Brent Marks, and the visor started to fog up. So I'm peeling away mud from the vents and anywhere that I can peel it away from, just trying to get it to stop fogging. And nothing ended up helping. Skagit's been real dusty lately, so I have a dust skirt that goes around my helmet. I tried to flip that up, and nothing worked. So I drove around the last 15 or so laps, basically completely blind. So I just catfished it around the bottom and brought it home in 18.
Hey, you brought it in home in one piece. That's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just it.
But yeah,
It's a lot less fun when you're loading your car with a wrecker.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Or you spend an hour putting it together so you can roll it on there.
Oh, we've done that before.
Well, I don't think there's anybody out there that hasn't. But like you said, it just sucks the fun right out of your night.
So why?
Well, it really does, and it sucks the fun out of your wallet.
Oh, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not kidding. So why do you have the number that you have?
So, that's my dad's number, and he has that number because it was the easiest number to paint on his mini stock that he could get. It was still available. And then it's just stuck. He ran that number his whole career, and I've run it my whole life because I think like any kid that has a dad that races, I idolized him growing up.
You know.
Yep.
And he's still to this day, when he gets back behind the wheel of a stock car here in a couple of years, still my favorite driver.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
that's where that one comes from.
gotta ask because I didn't get to watch. What is the number?
77.
77. Okay. 'Cause I didn't turn it on when I got home, but because
Yeah.
I get home later than you.
So what motors are you running?
So I'm running, we have a local builder around here, Fogger Racing Engines, and we actually partnered up with them. We used this same motor at High Limit last year, and then we had worked together a little bit more over the winter, and we actually built a car that I run for them at the weekly shows at Skagit.
Okay.
So we ran all the weekly shows this year in their car, pulled the motor out, went and ran with Narc on the Speed Week, which was a frustrating week for me, to say the least. But then left it in and went out and ran Dirt Cup.
Cool.
Okay. So when you say local, is that north of the border or south of the border?
South of the border local.
Okay.
South of the border local.
Okay.
All right.
I consider everything in BC and Washington local
Yep.
to me.
Yep. Well, when you only got to drive 40 minutes to get to Skagit, you know, it's local, so.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I don't think I can emphasize this enough. My house, although in Canada, I can literally throw a stone right now into Washington State. My street is the border.
Oh, really? Well, that's,
Yeah, not a
pretty,
word of a lie.
that's pretty close then.
So, fairly Canadian.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I got a sister that lives out in Oak Harbor Islands out there outside of Seattle. Willoughby Islands. I don't know. I can't ever remember the name of the town, but it's out there somewhere. So, what's the bridge? Frick. I don't know.
You're looking at me like I know.
Oh, I
I got an
can't
old
think of the
classmate
bridge.
that lives in Canada.
I stood on the bridge when I was a young kid. And
Lives
I
in
cannot
British
remember.
Columbia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that boy.
Audrey.
What's the plans going forward? You race weekly then, or are you gonna go anywhere else since you won some big money or not?
So we're gonna race Skagit for the next few weeks, I think. I think we got a 410 show again with the Father's car next weekend, and then a 360, which will be my car, and then one more 410 show, and then we head down. We're gonna go run the SBCT Speed Week. So we'll be heading start in California, run through Oregon at a bunch of tracks there, and then end at the Summer Nationals in Skagit.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
So
That's
you're
great.
busy yet
The
then.
first little bit of traveling soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna head down and run Trophy Cup again, and then trying to work out a deal to go run a midget with USAC when they come out to California.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So trying to do as much traveling as I can.
That's awesome.
Trying to get. I like to race away from home sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Try something different. You know,
That's awesome.
you got
Absolutely.
to try something
Maybe
new to
going
get
out
better.
Your guys' direction sometimes. coming
Yeah.
out soon.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
come out Knoxville, Houston, you'd love it. So that's
Oh yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I grew up wanting to take a shot at Knoxville one of these days. It was one of my dreams as a kid.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, then you gotta check it off your bucket list sometime. So we'll definitely
Absolutely.
look you up when you come this way. What do you think, Tope? Should we get to the rapid
I
fire?
suppose we should. It's getting late for you and me.
Yeah, it
it's still
is.
early out on their end of the world.
Yeah, the sun's probably still out for those guys.
It's only like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, well, it's closer to 7:30 out there because it's like 9:30 here. So I don't know about Bud, but I stayed up way too late the 4 nights of the high
Oh my
banks.
gosh, yeah, I'm still trying to
I
recover.
think the earliest I went to bed was 1,
Yeah,
and I'm too old for that.
so yeah, we're old farts. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Chocolate.
Cat or a
Gotta go
dog?
chocolate.
Chocolate.
I'm a dog person. I got a Siberian Husky.
Ooh, my daughter loves them things.
Yeah, she's a crazy little one.
They got some of the cutest. They got some really cool
Eyes.
eyes.
Eyes,
Huskies do.
Oh, they're absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 5 minutes a day that they're calm when they're sleeping
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best dog you'll ever have.
I'm just gonna say they're high strung.
Do you have
Very, very stubborn.
yeah, do you have any hobbies outside of racing?
Outside of racing, I like to build streetcars, but I don't have enough time for that. I got a 1986 S10 that has been in the works for the past 5 years.
No, I gotta ask, what are you dropping that in that for a motor? Because you ain't putting what was in it.
No, I'm not putting anything that would come stock in it.
Yeah.
But I'm going very basic with it. I got a 350 small block Chevy sitting next to me here in the garage,
Okay.
and I got all the stuff sitting. I got all the parts sitting here to put it in. I had it. I think when I was 5, I traded my PW50 dirt bike for it, and it sat around when I got my license in high school. Stripped it all down, repainted it, made it all nice, fixed it up, and now it's just waiting for a motor.
Several years ago, my dad had the GMC, they call it an S15, I think, so basically it's just an S10. He dropped a 327 in that, and he run like that E85 ethanol in it,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't remember what the speedometer went up to, but he had the needle wrapped back around to P for park. So he doesn't know how fast he was going, but after he did that, then he thought he should maybe take that motor back out of there. So
yeah. Well, they're light little trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a lot of. Not hard to push them very fast.
No, and when you put something bigger in it, you take the 4-cylinder out of it that they come with.
Oh yeah. Well, mine came with the little 2.8 V6 fuel injector.
Oh, okay.
The thing was terrible on gas.
Yep. You'll probably get just as good a fuel mileage with the 350.
Honestly, probably better.
Yeah. Won't be worse for sure.
Don't have to
But
be floored everywhere.
as long as you keep your foot off the floor a little bit, it'll do all right.
Absolutely.
Might need to buy tires on a regular basis for the back, but hey, that's a whole other story. But anyways,
Don't worry about it. They're cheaper than sprint car tires.
yeah, that's true. That is true. How about a favorite movie? We better keep going.
Favorite movie? Ooh, probably Rush.
Oh, yep,
Formula One movie.
yep.
Yep.
Rush.
Do you
Keep an eye on that one.
do you prefer snow or rain?
Oh, I don't prefer either.
Yep, that works too.
Let's go with snow.
Yep.
If you were going to be
Straight
stranded,
north, am I right?
Yep, we're good.
if you were going to be stranded on an island or just stranded somewhere, what type of music would you have to have along to listen to?
Ooh, listen to what hell of a shit now.
That works too.
Probably gonna have to be some 90s grunge. So some Nirvana, Alice in Chains,
There you go.
Soundgarden, something like that.
That might not be my line.
I still like that.
Well, you do, but you're a little younger than me, bud.
I listened to Crow growing up, so I get that.
Hell yeah.
That's just a local station here, so Tobe knows what that is.
I know what it is, but I never listened to it.
Yeah, that's
Well, Crow is also a band that the lead singer of Pantera.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep. Crow was 103.7 here on the FM dial, and Spike Bergman always listened to that. So I didn't have much of a choice because I was with him a lot. So, do you have a favorite place to go out to eat?
El Ranchito Mexican restaurant in Linden, Washington.
There you go.
Linden.
Best Mexican food I've ever had.
That's the town where a lot of kids come Northwestern from Linden back in my day.
Yep.
I've heard of that town. See?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah. That's just a little
right
local.
across the street from me.
Yeah. Okay, because that's just a little local college.
Yep. Hour
40
away
miles,
from us.
yep.
Yep.
How about a favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday? That's a tough one. Does Knoxville National count?
Sure.
Well, it's kind of a holiday for most racers.
Heck, the bankers come up with Juneteenth as a holiday, so
Yeah.
Probably I'm going to have to go with New Year's because it's the same weekend as the shootout.
oh, there you go.
Okay.
How many speeding tickets do you have?
Does it count if it got thrown out?
Well, how many times have you had one written up for you? Let's put it that way then.
One.
One. No, that's
Well,
nothing.
that's nothing.
It's
So
hard to, hey, it's hard to speed in a stock S10.
that is true. That is true. A little bit, but you know, you can get up above them in a 35 zone once in a while. You can run through there 45 with them. But in regards to speeding tickets, what's the fastest you've ever driven on the highway or say ridden with somebody down the highway?
Fastest I've driven on the highway is about 100 miles an hour.
Okay.
That's when I got the speeding ticket.
Oh, she got a good speeding ticket when you got it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't the little one.
Yeah. What's your favorite drink or go-to beverage?
Go-to soft drink would probably be Coca-Cola.
That works. I'm a Pepsi guy, but I can drink Coke.
Yeah, I can do either personally, but
Well, I can drink anything that's
if I
not
don't
diet.
buy one and I had to pick, I'd pick Coke.
Yep. I can drink anything that's not diet. I don't do well with diet. Bud drinks that diet
I
crap.
can't stand the diet stuff either.
No.
I don't like the aftertaste.
He never has to worry about me stealing his pop, that's for sure. Last question here before we let you go. And this one, I'm looking forward to this one because you like old cars and things, you got projects. But if you had all the money in the world, didn't know what to do with it, is there a car, pickup, boat, motorhome? Is there something you've always wanted that you just, you can't afford?
Oh, I like old mini trucks. So I kind of have one of those. Probably I'd go with a early 70s Corvette Stingray. I've always loved those.
There you
Okay.
They look badass.
Yep.
Okay.
He
That
mi-
works.
He might get a speeding ticket if he has one of those.
You know he's
I
gonna.
just might.
You know he's gonna see how fast it goes anyhow.
Oh.
Somebody's got to do it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, Levi, thanks for agreeing to be on in such short notice. What a huge win. It was so fun to see all your emotion there after getting that win, and to think that you basically have just started racing 410s. I just think it's pretty amazing.
Thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for letting me come on here. Sorry I didn't get back to you guys right away.
No, that's no problem.
That's all. You got back to us. That's the main thing.
Yeah, heck yeah. There's a lot of people that don't respond to me, so.
Really? They won't respond to you guys?
Wow.
We're just.
We always like
You're
to
gonna
say
do it anyway.
race car drivers are kind of their own, and
They got things going on and this and that, and we're sitting in a little town of 280 people,
yeah.
so we're not too big of an operation.
Our claim to fame is Fulkins Brothers Trucking.
Yeah.
They're basically a mile and a half out of town, 2 miles out of town, and we still claim them as Lester. So
Yep.
it's always kind of nice when they're on Kyle Larson and Aaron Reitzel and Caleb Johnson's car. So it's pretty cool that we know those guys. And Tobe gets taken around all
And
over
Steve
the place.
hauls me
so-
around the country with him once in a while, so it's a win-win for me by far. So, but anyways, we're rambling about ourselves now. So, thanks a bunch for coming on again. We wish you the best of luck in the rest of the year, and hopefully you get out here sometime. We can meet in person and shake hands.
Thank you. I'm going to try and make it out there soon.
All right.
Well, you take care.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah,
You
no
bet.
problem.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right.
So, on your way back, bud. grab me a spoon so we can have us some rainbow nut butter.